We are recording from the ashram of our revered Guru, Pujya Atman Sri Swami Jyotirmayananda in Miami, Florida. Today is July the 9th, 2013, Tuesday evening, and tonight Swamiji will lecture on Yoga Vasistha. This is series 2010, class number 278. And now Pujya Atman Sri Swami Jyotirmayananda.
Om Brahmanandam Param Sukhadam Kevalam Jnana Murtim Dvandvatitam Gagan Sadrisham Tattvamasya Lakshyam Ekam Nityam Vimalamachalam Sarvadhi Sakshi Bhutam Bhavatitam Trigunarahitam Sadgurum Tam Namam. Om. Adorations to Sadguru, who is Brahman, the giver of supreme bliss, embodiment of pure consciousness, one without a second, vast as the ether, infinite, eternal, beyond the three gunas and their modifications, the supreme preceptor. Yoga Vasistha in Upashama Prakarana Section 69. The topic is Asakti Tyag, renunciation of all attachments. In the previous section we are told two types of Asakti, Bandhya and Bandhya, attachments that cause bondage and attachments that are adorable. Now, the climax of all that process is realizing that the self, I am the self, and nothing else. An absolute detachment. Absolute detachment from the world you can gain only in a progressive manner. Vasistha explains, O Rama, one who is enlightened continues to perform his daily duties. And the duties and the works in which he becomes involved, that will depend upon different sages, people who have attained enlightenment. They have attained enlightenment in their different status, in their different way they are situated in the world. In other words, one can be a king and can be enlightened. One can be a lawyer, can be enlightened. One can be a farmer, can be enlightened. One can be a merchant and can be enlightened. One can be sannyasi, can be enlightened. You may be surprised. One can be a grihastha, householder, and can be enlightened. Enlightenment doesn't require any restriction. In spite of all different possibilities for everyone, what should be the inner state and how to promote it? O Rama, I'm going to explain this point to you. The ideal before you is not to be attached to anything. Now, Yoga Vasistha in a poetic way elaborates upon this. Na saktamiha cheshtasu, na chintasu, na vastushu, Na kashe na pyadho nagre, na dikshu na latasu cha. No attachment to projects that you have to do. That doesn't mean you become careless. If you have attachment, you are not really doing the job in an expert manner, because your heart is working on the basis, if I succeed, how wonderful it will be. So you're pushing yourself to do it fast. But then if I don't succeed, what will my boss say? This form of thinking is restricting your performance. If you are not attached, simply doing it. You are a flower blossoming, you're not attached to the bees, simply blossom, waft it. No attachment, that's the ideal to understand. How can a person live one's life with relaxed mind? And relaxed mind and living your life fully, dynamically, expertly. There is no contradiction between the two. Rather, relaxed mind is the very source, basis, and secret of being perfect, well skilled in your actions. To the extent your mind begins to come under the sway of ego, that if I succeed, how wonderful things are going to be. If I don't succeed, how things are going to become miserable for me. That brings in your mind many things of the past. Things like that I had done in the past. 5 years ago, when I succeeded, I went to Bermuda. But there was a time I didn't succeed. I stayed locked up in a rainy season. I'm just making you more to understand. Not attached to past concerns, worries, anxieties that you have gone through. If you are attached to the past, then memories of the past begin to hover over your mind. It blurs your vision for the present performance, reduces your energy, exaggerates your imagination. But how can you accomplish that? If mind becomes more and more involved in japa, remembrance of God, surrender to God, a profound feeling that you are being led by God, then you understand all that happened in the past was in a divine plan. And let that be in the hands of God. It's just like you are in a train. Instead of just relaxing on your seat, you are thinking, if the train driver is drunk, is he texting and driving? If some terrorists have entered the train, what will I do? You make your journey miserable. Life is a journey. Your mind is burdened by worries, unnecessary worries and lots of negative imaginations and lots of stress, your journey becomes miserable. Nor should you be attached to things that are at present. Because all those things that are at present, they are not going to stay the way you will find them. You may have a whole property, your house well built and everything arranged, and you are in a location where a hurricane comes and whips over it. You don't even have time to save your precious items. But that's little extended understanding. The idea is, do not always understand. Present situation may give you wonderful time. The mind says, this should stay on forever. But why to give that idea to your mind? Do you think your mind should stay a kid? Why do you want to make your mind just a kid? Because when you say that, you are not accepting the idea how things go on change. Everything in this world is a passing situation. All things are transient, temporary, fleeting, evanescent. I will find some more words. Do not be attached. Your attachment should not be directed to the sky. That means space. Nor should your attachment be to things that are below, neither up nor below, nor in the middle. Keeping it in a little broader, subtler way. You shouldn't be attached to Bhurloka, Bhuvarloka, and Swarloka. Bhurloka is right on the flat surface, giving in a very allegorical way. When you stand out in the open, all that you are seeing close to the earth, that compares with Bhurloka. What you see up in the sky compares to Swarloka. What you see in between compares to Bhuvarloka. Compares, they are not real. Real is, Bhurloka is your consciousness operating only at the level of senses. Eat, drink, be merry, and look at the world only in a very superficial way. That's Bhurloka. Bhuvarloka, you are becoming aware of experiences that arise out of sentiments, feelings, artistic talents, all relating to the mind. And that opens the door to a different loka, a world of experience, much different from the experiences that you had when you were gripped by Bhurloka. Just eat, drink, be merry. And then Swarloka, where intellect begins to open up. Your experience in life changes. So all your experiences and things that you want, they are not just in physical plane, simply because you have a wonderful house and many relatives and all possessions, that doesn't mean that you are enjoying. Your enjoyment may be just like a frog-like, confined to Bhurloka, just in a little puddle. Or your enjoyment can be little breeze-like. Or your enjoyment can be like the sky. And further shocking news, even all the three enjoyments are still colored by your mind. The reality, the self, transcends all. But from a practical point of view, live your life in a way that the higher in you, for example, living your life not just for senses, live your life for the higher culture of your mind, for purity of your intellect, for humility of your ego, for the blossoming of your soul, then life is enriched. So nowhere should you be attached, neither to the Bhurloka, nor Bhuvarloka, nor Swarloka. Do not be attached to near and dear ones, because in every embodiment you had lots of near ones and lots of dear ones. And further, everyone is being led by the soul within. You are not the one to give anyone enlightenment. Even ordinary things, a person is hungry. The person has to eat it in order to be satisfied. You say, I'm so gracious and kind and charitable, I'm going to eat it for you. You don't even have to chew it. I will take up the job of digesting it, assimilating. Seems ridiculous. In the same way, every soul is on the way to enlightenment in divine plan, led by karmic process. Certain souls gather together, just like if you are going in a travel, so many people come together in a plane. They all seem to be together, but they are going to go in different ways. But while they are together, the message is not to become crude personality, not to care for others, etc. All your love, affection, goodness should express and be exercised in whatever situation you are. At the same time, not feel that this is all that the world is. And with all my friends and people, that's my world. Let the whole world go to hell. America is my world. Let the other worlds go to hell. I'm just giving you a little broader political aspect. Nor should a person be attached to spiritual achievements, psychic powers, to dramatize for you. Suppose you took a big trip, went to Badri Kedar and in a shrine, and as you sat, your kundalini blossomed up. You felt a flash of light passing through your spine and looked at the deity, and the deity smiled at you. It was the most exciting experience, most inspiring. I'm not underestimating, it's a great good karma that has brought that. But when you become attached now, you don't want to do any sadhana, you are just thinking, when will I have the time to go back again? In exact situation. And when will I see this deity look at me? And from his iron stony lips, smile blossoms. Idea to understand. If you are a spiritual aspirant, great experiences will come, but don't hold on to that, because that's not all. Allow God to give you different layers of experiences. But in your mind, don't make yourself go after what you experienced on a lesser level. That means you have to stay in a lesser level to enjoy it. Allow God to give you higher levels. So you are going to go beyond things that you have experienced. That's perfectly in order. Do not be attached to Kundalini centers, the navel center, the heart center, throat center, the Agya chakra, the Sahasrara chakra. Nor should you be attached to the space between the eyebrows, nor the tip of your nose, nor the mouth, nor the pupil of your right eye. Because your experience firstly, in a relative plane, your experiences arise from your consciousness. Like all types of illumination during the day comes from the sun. No matter how diffused the light is, how refracted the light is, the source is the sun. In the same way, all your experiences at the sense level, at the emotional level, at the rational level, all your experiences are pure consciousness operating through a limited mind, like a light operating through a prism. Therefore, being attached to any of this refracted expression of light puts you in a world of ignorance. The reality is beyond. So don't be attached to the rainbows, don't be attached to reflected suns, don't be attached to shining clouds. Be attached to the sun. But even that is an error. You don't need to be attached to the sun. You are the sun. You are pure consciousness. You are the light of lights. Do not be attached to the waking state. Don't be attached to the dream state. Nor should you be attached to sleep state. These three states, they are variable. They come and go. You do not belong to any one of these three states. And that point is the highlight of Vedantic study, allowing your mind to understand I am not the body, I am not the senses, I am not the mind. And the simple plan in Vedanta is place before yourself 3 states that you experience day by day. In waking state, you are identified with your physical body. Everything is accomplished on the basis of your physical body. That identity is the ruling factor. And you are so much concerned for it. And also how you are related to people, things, all that in waking state. All that have impact. But you go to sleep. Within a moment, you enter into a dream world. And you find yourself quite comfortable with the dream world. We never say, how is it? All things have moved away. In waking state, you will suddenly look at a window and it's not there. You'll be shocked. But here, you slipped into a world completely kidnapped from the waking state. Everything has changed. Instead of your having a house, you are seeing you are facing a lake. And then you find yourself flying over it, even though you don't have wings. It doesn't seem anything contradictory. It's perfectly normal. Then who are you? Use the mathematics with the intellect. Ask the question, who am I? If I am the one belonging to the waking world, then I would not have existed in the dream world in a totally different setup. So therefore, neither I am an integral part of the waking state, nor of the dream state. And this becomes more clear in deep sleep state. Neither you are awake, nor you are dreaming. Everything has moved away from your mind. But somehow there is that awareness. The awareness of being free of all the turmoil, all the pressure. And you wake up and say it with very great feeling of satisfaction. I slept very soundly. I knew nothing. Never does a person become so proud of knowing nothing. This gives you a deeper understanding that even if you have no experience of the waking, of the dream, now waking experience is because of physical body and senses. Dream experience highlights your subtle body. Even when physical body is taken away, subtle body is operating. You don't have to be in dream in order to experience subtle body. The subtle body is constantly operating. Your mind and senses belong to the subtle body. We cite the example of dream in order to make it clear for your mind. Because in dream you are totally separate. But the subtle body is operating even in your waking state. You couldn't be listening to me unless you have the subtle body operative. Because your ears don't listen. They are only passages. And a deeper fulfillment comes from the causal body. So at every moment, you are all the three bodies together. And your attention goes on shifting according to the need of your personality, from physical to subtle, from subtle to causal. And you do not belong to any one of the three. That's why you can move along, all the three. This point becomes clear when you enter into samadhi. You are not sleeping, you are not dreaming, you are not awake. And everything has moved away. All the three states have moved away. That state is your essential nature. If you evolve in a spiritual way, in an ideal way, you become aware of being rooted in that state. You become aware, I am Brahman. Even though all practical realities continue from surface point of view. That's what the topic is presently. Neither should you be attached to Rajoguna, Tamoguna or Sattva-guna. The gunas are also, they create a tremendous reality for every soul. In fact, all the realities, all the practical experiences in the world are a blend of the three gunas, a khichdi. In every experience there is some tamas there, some rajas, some sattva. These three gunas, they have positive and negative connotations depending upon context. In other words, you may be gripped by negative tamas, that means your mind is holding on to grudge, negative feeling, even though it may not have any cause, but mind holds on to it. At mass level, people hold on to grudge for generations. That's tamas. Negative tamas. Positive tamas, when you are tired, you feel tired. When nature asks you to relax, you go to sleep. That's blessed tamas. When you hear of gunas, understand their role. All the three gunas must be there at every moment. Rajas, negative rajas, allows your mind to become foxy. Just go on after superficial values. Extremely distracted. Of course, negative rajas gets into attachment, delusion. Sattvic rajas allows you to perform your action dexterously, dynamically, swiftly. You need rajas in order to have anything done. The sattvic type is not obstructive to your enlightenment. Same way, sattva. The negative type of sattva is like Vibhishana working together with Kumbhakarna and Ravana for the benefit of Ravana. You have to read the Ramayana. Vibhishana has contributed to the strength of Kumbhakarna, Vibhishana, rather Ravana. But same Vibhishana, there comes a state He renounces his brothers and goes to Rama. So sattva, when it becomes highly purified, paves the way to Triguna-tita. All the three gunas are transcended. The soul does not depend upon the gunas. When free of gunas, the soul is absolutely Brahman. As long as gunas are needed, the soul is evolving. And in that process of evolution, when you are in tamasic level, negative tamas, you are on the lowest level. The three gunas can be compared to a lamp. Tamoguna is the oil in it, it's old style. Rajoguna is the wick. Oil has to move through the wick. Sattvaguna is the flame. And so if oil is burning, if the lamp is operating in you, that should be the way it should be. Your life should go on. Keeping the tamas not in a state of passive state, but a tamas being utilized. As tamas is awakened and utilized, rajas develops. When inertia and depression of your mind moves away, you become exceedingly aware of lots of energy in your mind. Only thing you don't know what to do. So that tamasic oil must flow through the wick. But then it should be kindled. Your intellect must join in. Light must emanate from all this process. So tamas becomes sublimated into rajas, rajas into sattva. And the light having performed its function, shown you the way, that light is not needed anymore. You don't need a flashlight all the time. Do not be attached to the world, the manifest world, the world that is before you, the world of elements, and how the elements have combined together to create so many things. Do not be attached to avyakta, a prior state to creation, where there is non-manifest, where Prakriti has not started its evolution. Do not be attached to the beginning of creation, or the middle of creation, or the end of creation. You may say the question doesn't arise. But look at people. There are people who are constantly talking about the beginning, how things are. They fight for it. Was Noah's Ark exactly the place where to find it? There are lots of things go on about the past. And then there are people who are foretelling about the complete destruction of the world, the end of time. And there are so many people attached to it. Even I have received emails that since the world is coming to an end, we should start not too much of the Vedantic talks, just to prepare how to face the destruction. That's the example of being attached to the end of time. So neither be attached to the beginning, nor the end, nor the middle. Don't be attached to to distant reality, nor to that which is close to you, nor that which is up or which is down. Do not be attached to Vishaya vrittis, Vishaya ras, the pleasure, the sense of joy that you derive through 5 objects of perception, 5 objects of the 5 senses. Roop, you are seeing things. Countless people enjoy form, colors, all the drama, cinema show, all that gives you rasa through your eyes without soaking your eyes. And then you enjoy rasa through food, all types of tastes. There is a massive involvement, how people cook from North Pole to South Pole. Even worms and strange things become delicacies. And all types of smell, fragrance, so the people go after. All types of feeling of touch, sound, music, words. This is world. Enjoying the world is through your 5 senses. How much can you grab through your 5 senses? If a mind has nothing more to go after, then imagine what happens to the mind. The moment your eyes begin to diminish, 1/5 of your fanciful world is gone. If ears go away, your 2/5 of the world is gone. If nose goes away, you are practically paralyzed. The entire world and its experience depends upon those 5 senses. But all through your experiencing the 5 senses, you must realize mind has been behind it. And you have convinced the mind that there is the joy. Through your mind you have created a block, a blockhead. Now, therefore, cure it. Things that delight you through your eyes, Siya Ram Main Sab Jag Jani, they are all expressions of God. Behold the lilies of the field, how do they blossom? So you are enjoying Vishayaras. You are seeing the lilies, but Vishayaras is not predominating your mind. You are enjoying how God has fashioned it. An all-loving creator, completely detached, completely focused on every soul with boundless love. So when your mind moves towards that type of feeling, looking at the objects, looking at people, mother looking at a baby, or in any relation, in any form of love, when you see the divine behind it, then your Vishaya Ras has become converted into a divine love. Ishwara Ras. When there is Vishaya Ras, then there is Vishaya Sakti. You become more and more attached to these illusions, shadows. Ishwaras, that's Ishwaranurakti, a type of attachment that opens a mysterious passage. Normally the moon waxes and wanes, but there is a moon that shines in that passage that goes on waxing and waxing without taxing you. That's called anurakti, raga that creates more attachment, an increasing attachment leading to immense freedom. But Vishaya Sakti, every attachment has pushed you down, has cramped you up, tired you up. Every attachment has put a burden on your head. And as time passes by, your attachment goes on growing. So much so, your mind is constantly thinking of, where is my treasure? What's happening to it? Where is my money in the bank? What's happening to it? Your attachment has become taken over you. Nothing left. So just I'm trying to dramatize Vishaya Sakti and Ishvara Sakti. Vishaya Sakti you don't really enjoy. Though people call it love. I love it so much that I can go to hell along with it. The fact is, nothing can really be loved. How can you love a cloud? How can you love a patch of blue? It is the sky. All that mind wants to love is contents of dream. In your dream you see so many things, and you start loving them. And you pray, oh God, let it be always before me, this apple of the dream. Fortunately, it is not always there. From Vishayaras to Ishwararas. And ultimately, the climax is Bhumananda, infinite bliss of self-realization. I am, that am I. Bhumananda is the only real joy. The same joy has become refracted through your mind, senses, and what you are looking for in the world is refracted happiness, shadows of happiness, reflections of happiness. And no matter how many reflections you catch, you get nothing substantial. Collect 100 reflected suns, put them all together in big container, and you have found nothing. That's the predicament of mind looking for satisfaction on the basis of material happiness, power, pleasure, glory. Though they may seem so immense, the substance of all that is just void. Unless along with it a person has developed a spiritual movement. If you have developed that, that is substantial. And with this I conclude. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
If anyone has questions, please raise your hand and Sunil will bring you the mic. Please be sure to speak into it. You ask the question.
Swamiji, so what is the way to move through the world with a source, with another source of happiness other than the attainments that we are, making in whatever it is we're doing in our life?
The answer lies in integral yoga. Your mind should be focused on doing 4 points, doing your duties, don't deviate from it. Along with it, develop a prayerful mind, a devotional mind. That's bhakti yoga. So karma yoga. Your sentiments always need certain experience, certain fulfillment. That fulfillment, your mind should distinguish. For example, a mother loves her child. Presence of child delights her. But while the delight is coming, try to bring, God has brought the child. God is shining through the child. God in me has given me a heart. So ultimately, behind this drama, love of God is operating in me, love of God. In brief, I'm loving God in the child. But all that complete picture doesn't come in, but as you go on working with it, you gain a higher level. But while you are doing that, don't miss your japa, meditation, controlling the mind, holding the mind in one direction, without ever saying, oh, I don't need it today, any meditation. Everything is fine. All the 4 must be exercised. And head aspect, reflect, always thinking, reading the scriptures, having satsanga talks before you to understand about how to allow your thoughts to become magnanimous, leading to thoughtlessness. And therefore, when you when you blend all the 4, you don't have to blend it. There are 4 anyway, with consciously developing the idea of doing all the 4 in a balanced way. If you are doing it, then you don't have to think of anything else. Everything else will fit in automatically. But no matter how things go, insistence in this integral movement, that in itself will save you, will give you strength enough and vision enough to tide over adversities.
Thank you.
It's Ganga Devi.
Swamiji, could you talk to us about judgment?
Pardon?
Judgment.
Judgment.
Yes.
Be a good judge. You have to have good judgment to know what is real, what is not real, what is substantial, what is not substantial. When a person is saying certain things, have a good judgment whether the person means it or doesn't mean it. But in both cases, judgment is yours. How you deal with the person, that's another judgment. Even though internally you have judged the person is of a low caliber, and what he is intending is to harm you. But your reaction to the person should be humble, gentle, even though you know it. Internally you are not a fool. But you also know it, that a gentler reaction to a crude person is curing the person. So your judgment has led you to a different dimension. And your judgment should be that now I have the opportunity to bring out the divine in me to attack the demon in this person. Your judgment, being judgmental, if it allows you to be enriched spiritually, and that's the purpose of being judgmental. If the purpose of being judgmental is only to find mistakes in others, then it is a predicament. Your finger sees so many mistakes, but 3 fingers point to you. Each time you point one mistake, 3 fingers are giving you a bad judgment. In common parlance, the idea of being judgmental, that's not culture. Be judgmental in the way I have explained. Because that way you are just misusing your mind. People are not the way they just appear. Even you can't be judged by people simply because one day you walk out with a twisted nose.
So in the process of judging, in a discriminating,
viveka.
In a viveka. Process of viveka, for the relationships that we have with people in the world, where does that, so there are some relationships that may nourish, and some relationships that may...
Some ships you got to get into. Get into ships that are doing some purposeful movement. That again is it. But there are situations when you can't. In that case comes to see the God's majestic work of grace and to trust this. In spite of the difficult situations, if you continue with the philosophy of adapt, adjust, continue to be good, intensifying your inner enrichment no matter what, and then you see how things change in divine plan. As the moon emerges out of a dark cloud, it shines brighter than before. So thank God that creates dark clouds.
Swamiji, first I want to thank you for the advice you gave me a couple weeks ago. I have upped the hours so that I do Hatha Yoga, and my meditation and my japa is better, and I'm handling my brother better, and I just want to thank you for that.
Share all this with others.
Well, it's made a big difference. You know, my
Good.
meditation was so
Very good.
distracted I couldn't, you know, and it's just like everything's falling into place. I want to thank you for the Ramayana retreat very much. That was wonderful. And on my own, I've been studying your book on the Gita. Are you going to do a...
Yes, we are going to do.
Oh,
When
good.
Vivek Churamani is going to conclude very soon,
Uh-huh.
on Friday, then I will
Uh-huh.
take up Bhagavad Gita.
Oh, great, great. Yeah, I've been loving your book and reading it and studying it, and that's wonderful. Thank you.
For tomorrow now.
So, reminding all about our upcoming Guru Purnima festivity on July 21st. We will be celebrating Guru Purnima in the ashram. It's a Sunday. We will start at 5:30 p.m. A special program is being planned. And it is a very special festivity. On that day, we celebrate our beloved Guru. He gives and gives endlessly to us. On that day, we will celebrate him and by our presence and our love and show our gratitude. So please mark that date on your calendar and be present.